in Shauna Answers the Internet, we're going to address one of the top questions Google gets, which is how to lose weight. And I love this question because you're not going to find the answers that I'm going to go into today on Google. You'll find a bunch of information about diet and weight loss and macros and all of that kind of stuff and body types. So we're going to go into the other side of weight loss, the one that's not covered as often. And it starts with really just deep down, do we feel safe to be seen, to be visible as our truest self? So the first step of losing weight and keeping it off and not ever having it again is actually to really get to the root of feeling safe in your own skin, feeling safe to be seen, feeling safe to be that person inside that you feel like you need to protect for some reason. And so there can be a lot of, trails of past traumas and things like that. But what we're really getting to the heart of is deep down inside, you have some kind of big dream or just a view of yourself that you're not fully willing to see and acknowledge. And the second part of that is that if you are holding on to weight and no matter what you do, it is not coming off, then you also need to consider the idea that you are holding on to things for other people, because that is not something you have any power over releasing. You can't let that go. You can't act on things for other people. So if you are holding on to other people's grief, other people's sorrow, other people's rage, other people's even positive emotions, but typically I find most of the time if you're holding on to weight, you're holding on to negative baggage. And so it's typically more so like you wanted to protect someone else. And as long as you're holding on to it, you consider them safe from feeling it all the way. Except that's not truly how it works. But that's how we tell ourselves it works. If I hold on to this pain for someone else, they don't have to feel it. But now it's my baggage and I can't actually go through the grief cycle for them. And so I'm just going to store it and I'm going to hold on to it. So that goes into just taking a moment to check in with yourself and to outwardly or writing it on a piece of paper or just by setting an intention, say, I am deleting all of the messages or emotions or beliefs that I've been holding on to on behalf of other people, and just let that go. And then the third aspect of weight is that it's actually serving a purpose. It's doing something for you. Weight and numbers are a language in our universe. We see it in everything, in Da Vinci's man and the code that's in everything, right? And so numbers are powerful, and the weight that we are is telling us what we are working on in our current mission and our current place. And it's telling us what attributes we're trying to magnify. And so it's also, if where we are is not where we want to be, then we can take a look at what that intuitive weight is. The one that if you really checked in with yourself and you were being honest and you didn't have anyone else's opinions in the mix and you just said, this would be a great weight for me. This is the weight I would feel comfortable with being myself. And you take the weight where you are now and the difference between those two, then you have your journey. You have the meaning of the path. So for instance, I'll use an example. Let's say I am 205, but inside I feel drawn to be 175. Then I would subtract those, and that number, which I think it's 30, is going to be, I don't have time to calculate math right now. That number 30 has its own message. 30 tells you how to get from 205 to 175. And I know that some of this might sound a little bit out there, but I want you to go look up, just for fun. Don't get too far into the rabbit hole of this kind of stuff, because you can definitely go that way. But just search symbolic meaning of the current weight you are. Or you can even say like number meaning of the current weight that you are. And I want you to just skim and see which result your eye is drawn to. And if it doesn't, just in a lot of ways explain what you're going through right now. And then do the same thing for your ideal. And if those numbers don't match, then that's okay. This is not the method for you. But every time I've done this with someone, it almost perfectly explains their current situation and also their ideal self, where they want to be. And then you look up that number that's the difference, then the symbolic meaning of that number, and it'll help give you insights, tips into traits that you can magnify. Like maybe you need to step into a leadership role, and so if you do that on a mission of compassion, that's going to be your best way to move into leadership or something like that. Whatever that number has the symbolic meaning of, look at ways to incorporate those attributes. So that's my third weight loss tip that Google is not going to tell you. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you have, just like, subscribe, and you can see more videos like this as I answer random internet questions. Thanks for joining me today.